I think IT can play a critical role in taking us out of recession in a number of ways. I think it can make us much more effective in the way that we manage things within our organisation, and I think it will also fundamentally enable us to cut and control cost within the business.
Well, I think the attitude of the IT community is let's try and leverage what we've spent already. So they're recognising that there are systems that have some really good data in it, but potentially they're not using it as well as they should. So they're being tasked by the business to be more effective with not only the spend, but how they make that and take that data out to their user community. So better visibility of data, better processes so that you don't have people rekeying data right across an organisation, and then taking advantage of it in a lot better ways.
If you're looking at the investment people are putting in today about reducing the costs and streamlining their businesses, what they're really doing is just making the infrastructure suitable for the future. Are they looking at the future yet? No, they're not. But that doesn't mean that they're not getting themselves ready for it. It just means that they have to start thinking a little bit differently about the here and now. They're very sort of myopic into what they're doing right now. They're very tied to the issue. But a lot of the things they're doing, in fact, will allow for this future growth. But they need to step out of what they're currently doing and say, okay, it's all about cost cutting, to start talking about, well, actually I can consume things outside my business environment, so making use of the cloud, making use of instrumentation inside the rest of their business, and actually see the business opportunity that brings, which will then allow them to invest in their infrastructure, their current infrastructure. So there will be growth. So yes, they are doing a lot of things now to streamline it, but that is no bad thing when it comes to growth in the future.
Well, I think most of our customers, they're being asked to look at what they're doing, what the IT department's doing, how they're spending their money. So, there's always the stories about cutting costs, of course, but hopefully the smarter ones, so we're seeing a few of them like that, are saying, well, we've invested in core financial systems and so forth. What else can we offer and thus make more sense of? To them to say, well, we can help you put in other systems like CRM, like better payroll systems, like HR systems, to be more efficient and more effective with the tools they have.
I think there's no doubt that IT's got a pivotal role to play in supporting businesses in emerging the other side of recession. It's inevitable that will happen. I think that you can add to the usual mix of security and risk management and innovation as part of the kind of role and mix of the IT director, these new two functions of cost containment and cost control. And I think we're seeing at NCC a real kind of quest towards cost containment being very much a function of IT, and technology is a key way of achieving that.
There's certainly a focus right now on tactical cost reduction, absolutely, and so we see a lot of that. But I think, again, the smarter IT people are saying, well, how do we make this into a strategic advantage? And so they're looking to the company to look at some of their KPIs and go, well, what are they trying to do in the next year? Is it improve the sales by a notional amount, make the service facility a lot more efficient, a lot more friendly? So, okay, great, Mr. CEO, tell me what those measures are, and I will, as the IT director, take those away and say, well, we've got some systems here. How do we make that feed back to the strategic goal? So the smart ones are, yes, they have to cut costs, but that doesn't work. You can only strip so far. You still need to use the information. I mean, we're in an age now where information more than ever is power. When you're in a competitive economy, you need to know more about your customers, what you do and don't sell, and more the workforce in a company are using the tools or demanding the tools to say, well, what is the stuff I need to know to be more efficient in my job?
The linkage between IT and the business strategy and the future planning has been so embedded that actually the CIO becomes the holder of the business process across much of the organisation, and almost becomes a merge between a CIO and a Chief Operating Officer, the COO.
A future of an IT department, now that's an interesting question. Somebody who is really locked into strategic goals of the company, so someone who has an IT director who has a seat at the top table with the rest of the board and knows what their company is trying to do, knows that its next year goal is to do this, do that, do this, measurable amounts, and then take that back to their own business and say, right, what systems do we need? How do we make them do that stuff to help the business? It's kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm just being simple about this, but it's like lock it into the strategy of the company.